YTBC. This is your boy, Coach Shelton Harrison. And guys, this is Racial Imbalance in Boxing and in YTBC Part 3, okay? And this is called the Latino Extremes. People, I've had my first two videos and I talked about the white extremes and the black extremes, okay? Well, here's a whole nother extreme in boxing and in the YTBC. They're Latinos. Latinos are a proud race of people. They're very proud. They will support their fighter to the end. They will. They'll support their fighter to the end, and people, I've seen this thing unfold. If I were a Mexican fighter, I would be glad to be a Mexican fighter at times because I'm going to have support from my fan base. Even if I lose, I'm going to have support from my fan base if I am a Mexican warrior in the ring. If I fight, and if I fight the good fight, I'm pretty much going to have fans no matter if I win or lose, I'm going to have a fan. That's just the way that is, okay? I'm sorry to say that, some of the other races, the black race, the white race, we just don't support our fans like Mexicans do. And I want to say Mexicans because Mexicans are the hardcore Latino fans. You have Puerto Ricans, you have Argentines, and you have other groups of Latinos that support their boxing. But Mexicans, they deep down, they are rooted in their boxing. They love their boxers. I'm sorry. They love their boxers. They don't jump ship over some losses. They just don't. They don't. Because if that's the case, Juan Manuel Marquez would have been out of there after he lost to Floyd Mayweather. They'd have been like, "You suck, Marquez. We ain't gonna support you ever again." Yeah, and that's what they would have been like. But Mexicans, they support their own. I'm gonna give you an example. I used to train this Latino girl. I used to train her in track and field. She was a shot put thrower. Okay, girl was very talented. She got a full 4-year scholarship to a big prestigious university. And she used to live in a very, very bad neighborhood. She was, living in a neighborhood that was pretty much the heart of Gang Central, man. I'm talking about that neighborhood was bad. It was real bad. You dropping her off, man, at night, and you can hear, people having little firefights. You can see people fist fighting. I saw, a guy in the neighborhood. I saw they were fighting, and then he got stabbed. I mean, I done seen it, man. It's crazy. Her neighborhood was crazy. But, I'll go over there, man, and I drop off, and she said, "Coach, can I come to the gym a couple hours early because I can't concentrate doing my homework at home?" Yeah, and you can see why because, all night long, man, they fighting, they shooting. So, yeah. And she would come in 2 hours early, to the gym. And she'd get there a little bit before I got there. My partner and other people there, they were there, and she would just go do her homework and, wait for me to get there for training. And, she'd train and I'd drop off. And, I see some crazy stuff, man. But now here's one thing I do notice about Mexicans and Latinos that I don't notice about a lot of the races. Mexicans are more so, they're not really quick to try to shoot another Mexican so fast. And this is just what I observed. Now I could be wrong, okay, but from what I've observed in my 20 years, going to these neighborhoods and dropping kids off and just talking, they pretty much, they don't shoot each other most of the time. They'll go in there fist fight or they'll be in a knife fight. They'll go to a knife fight. And they'll bring knives and stuff. And, I've seen a couple of Mexicans shoot at each other. I've seen that. But, it's rare. Like, they'll get in the street, they'll fist fight. They'll fist fight each other first before they try to kill you. And that's just the way that is. They're all about fighting and living for another day. Okay? They're about fighting for another day. But, her dad, man, he was straight up throwing through game bang. I'm talking about this dude, doing everything, man. God was crazy. And, I remember he told me one day, she had missed like 2 weeks of practice, man. And, I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? She got college coaches looking at her. She just got, a lot of visits that are set up that, her dad wasn't going to take her on. It was crazy, man. This kid is getting recruited. I'm talking about like some big D1 schools. I'm talking about ones you see on TV. And, they were wondering why she wasn't at the last track meet, why she wasn't this. So, I had to go to her house. And, I'm a black man. So, first of all, that was strike number one, man. I'm just being honest, it was strike number one. But, when it comes to these kids and these kids trying to succeed, I don't have a yellow streak when it comes to that. When it comes to a child succeeding, I don't really care about that. I don't care about what it is that could happen to me because I know that my purpose here is to get these kids to another level. I said, so-and-so, let's go to your house. And she said, "Coach, you sure you want to do that, man?" I said, I could give a damn. I said, "You got visits. You finna go away to college. These coaches, they need to see you, and we need to get your letter of intent signed. We need to get all this stuff signed. And I said, we can't get it signed if you're not here. So I went into her house, and her dad had never met me. He just knew that somebody was dropping his daughter off. And she had told him that, well, I was a Mexican guy. And she said, well, my daughter said that she was in a program with a Mexican guy. That's what he was saying. And I said, well, I'm not Mexican. I looked at him. He said, man, you need to get out, Holmes. You need to get out, Holmes. He said, because, I'll unload on you right now. I said, well, you just going to have to unload on me. I mean, y'all, I'm kind of crazy, and I'm really not wrapped too tight. Because a normal person would have said, okay, cool. I said, look, man, I've been coaching your kid for 2 years. I ain't seen you once in 2 years, okay? I ain't seen you once in 2 years. I ain't never met you. I met your girlfriend, her mom, but I said I ain't never met you. And I said, let me tell you something. Your daughter about to go to a 4-year college, man. And he kind of looked, he said, oh, you mean like Notre Dame and, he's Notre Dame and S like that? That's what he said. And I said, yeah. He said, my kid? I said, yeah. He said, okay. He said, what you want? I said, man, she ain't been to practice in 2 weeks. I know. She got to stay here with her sisters and take care of them. I said, man, that ain't her job. I said, man, she got to get to practice. I said, she got to get to practice. I said, man, we got to finish out this season, and she got to sign her letter of intent to go to college. He said, man, you serious? My daughter finna go to college. Man, I pulled out a letter of intent, and I showed it to him. He said, what's this? I said, this is called a letter of intent. That means, man, you got to sign, and she signed on the dotted line. She goes to a school for 4 years. I said, but here's a catch, man. She got to perform toward the end, or they can rescind the scholarship. They can take it back. They can rescind the scholarship. And so he kind of said, okay. He said, okay, man, I'm going to let her go with you at practice. He said, but if you hurt my kid, I'm going to kill you. I said, well, okay, well, you ain't going to be killing me. I said, because we finna get practice going, and, she finna get in here and practice. And I had, 2 of them. And, guys, really and truly, I had another kid that I trained. Had him outside in the car. He was sitting there waiting on us to come outside, and he was thinking, man, I'm about to call the cops because coach ain't coming out, but I came out. I wasn't worried about that. I don't have fear when it comes to these kids. I just don't. I don't have a lot of fear, man. Just the one thing in life that I'll never be afraid of anybody, and that's over a kid. I'll fight to the death for a kid that's got something, that's going somewhere. And so she came out, and he said, well, I'm not dropping her off, and I'm not. I said, man, that's fine. I said, as long as she's allowed to practice. He said, okay. And we left. We went to practice. She got a scholarship, and she moved out to Seattle, and she's a consultant. That's what she does now. She makes a lot of money. It's kind of crazy, though, man. This guy, man, they protective over their kids, man. Latinos don't play, man. They don't play. And, they don't trust their kids with any other race of people unless they know you. And so I had to have some kahunas, man. I had to have some kahunas. And now I figured out when I deal with Mexicans and Latinos on YouTube, you got to have a pair of balls when you deal with them. That's just the way that is. You got to have some kahunas to deal with these jokers, man. Because if you don't, they'll sit in here and try to eat you up. And it's like some of the most racial comments I got were from Mexicans on my page. I mean, seriously. I made a video, and I talked about how Floyd Mayweather, beat Juan Manuel Marquez, okay? And I talked about how, people were saying that Floyd would never fight Marquez. That he was afraid to fight Marquez because Marquez beat up his nemesis Pacquiao way better than he ever could, and blah, blah, blah. So Floyd takes the fight, and I say, it's funny how Floyd now get in the ring with Marquez, completely dominate Marquez, knock Marquez down. And I said, now, everybody want to say that Floyd, and the Mexican fans were saying that Floyd is too big for Marquez, and he was picking on Marquez. And I said, notice that. And the first comment I got was from a Mexican guy. He called me a nigger. He said, man, you niggers and you flomos make me sick. That's what he told me. And I'll never forget that comment. And yeah, I get a lot of racial comments from Mexicans, man. Now, I do have some Mexicans and Latinos that sub to my channel that we can talk boxing. We talk boxing, and they're not biased. They come at it from all points of view. Now, they'll come out and say they support their Mexican fighters, which I have no problem with that. I don't have a problem with another race supporting the other race. You're supposed to. You're supposed to support your own race to an extent. You have to, because that's where you're from, and you support where you're from. That's what you do, and that's just the way that is. That's what you do. You support your own kind. But my thing is, okay, great, great. But I've gotten more racial comments from Mexicans. I have. And people, I can't deny the facts. I would like for the facts to be true, but nah. I even had a Mexican tell me, how does a nigga like you be a Canelo Alvarez fan? That's what he told me. People, I can't make this stuff up. I just sat and I started shaking my head. I'm like, man, this dude crazy. What you mean, how can I be a Canelo fan? He take tough fights. He got a style of fighting that I like to see. Canelo don't mind getting in there and knocking somebody out. Why wouldn't I like Canelo? Why wouldn't I like Canelo? I can be a Canelo fan. And I get a lot of flack from black people who say, man, you a sellout because you like Canelo. Okay. Well, if I'm a sellout, and I tell people this all the time, and I tell some black people this, some Fight the Power people. If I'm a sellout because I like Canelo, why do you still listen to Eminem? And I have to tell people this. I have to tell a lot of Fight the Power people. I have to tell them this. Okay? But that's the subject for another video. I can go in on that for hours. Okay? Yeah, I'm a Canelo Alvarez fan. I don't have no problems with Canelo. I like Canelo. Okay? Yeah, he's my favorite fighter. I don't have a problem with that. And neither should anybody else in the YTBC because he's my favorite. You shouldn't have a problem with that. My favorite fighter is my favorite fighter. Okay? Now, and just, dealing with Mexicans, guys, they support each other. They don't care what it is. Like, I remember one day, I was dropping off the same kid, and she said, Coach, they having like a festival here in the neighborhood, man. It was a Mexican neighborhood. She said, you can get out the car, man, and, grab a plate because, people see you drop me off all the time, man, so they know you. So I got out the car, and sure enough, man, one guy gave me a plate. One guy was putting, rice on this plate. One guy was putting vegetables on this plate. One guy was just throwing food over here. I mean, man, it was a big festival, man. They were feeding you. And, they'll call, now, here's what I learned. Now, they'll call other Mexicans and other Latinos. They'll call them off the street and say, here, come get a plate. Now, they ain't calling no black folks. Now, it was black folks at this festival. They were there, but these are people that they knew. And I noticed that Latinos don't open up to any other races unless they know you physically. If they see you on the street, they ain't talking to you. And that's just the way that is. They ain't talking to you. It ain't going to be no, hey, what's up, man? What's up? They ain't talking to you. They got to know you. It was other black people there. I mean, it was, I saw some black people there they were giving food and everybody, and they was, laughing up because they were already friends. But I'm talking about people just walking along the street that was black or white. Nuh-uh, man. They wasn't giving up nothing. They were giving it to other Mexicans. They were telling them, hey, man, come on over here and get some food. They wasn't talking to the blacks or the whites. They wasn't talking to none of us. But, we went in there and, you can see just being in their culture, man, they highly prideful, man. And that's why I can understand why they love their favorite fighter. Here's what I don't get. Some of the other races, man, they fight or lose. Then it's like, man, you write them off. Like, look at what happened to Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao gets knocked into another time zone by Marquez. All the Pacquiao fans jump ship. And Manny Pacquiao, a majority of his fans, he got a lot of white fans, and he got a lot of fans from different races. He got a lot of white fans. They jump ship. Some of his Filipino fans, they still there. But and most of them, they were just talking junk about him. The average Pacquiao fan, man, they disappeared. They was off the map. When Triple G lose, and I tell you, he's going to lose. Wait till he get in the ring with a decent opponent. When Triple G loses, and he will, okay, this Triple G fan is going to jump ship. I told y'all if Triple G was a class, I'd have gotten an A. I would have gotten an A if Triple G fan was a class. And I even made a video on how this Triple G fan thinks. I made a video. I gave you 4 steps on what this Triple G fan will do. Okay? They'll jump ship. But Mexicans, they ain't jumping ship. They ain't going to jump ship. Marquez could have got knocked out by Pacquiao. Marquez, they ain't going nowhere. Canelo got beat by Floyd. Man, Mexicans still on here talking junk. Hey, man, wait till Canelo in 5 years from now. Oh, yeah, he'll beat Floyd then. Hey, they still talking junk. And I got to respect that they can ride with their own person. I respect that. And that's just the way that is. This is your boy, Coach Shelton Harrison. I'm done. Subscribe.